My sister the traitor, 32 million, never thought I'd be writing something like this, but I need to get it off my chest, and frankly, I have no one else to talk to anymore. This is a long, complicated story that's been unfolding over the past year, so bear with me. The background: my sister Jane, 29F, and I were always close growing up. Our parents divorced when I was 10 and she was 7, and we kind of clung to each other through the chaos. Our dad wasn't really in the picture after that. He moved across the country and started a new family, visiting maybe once a year. Our mum did her best but worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat, so Jane and I relied on each other a lot. I was always protective of her. I helped her with homework, scared off boys who were bad news, and even postponed college for a year to work so I could help pay for her senior year activities. When I finally did go to college, I came home almost every weekend to check on her and Mom. Fast forward to adulthood, Jane and I remained close. We lived in the same city, had dinner together weekly, and our spouses got along great. My wife Emma and I have been married for 5 years, while Jane and her husband Tyler have been together for 3 years. The 4 of us would go on vacations together, celebrate holidays, the whole 9 yards. We were the kind of siblings other people envied. At least, that's what I thought. The business venture. 2 years ago, I decided to start my own business, a specialized consulting firm in my industry. I'd been in the field for a decade, had solid connections, and felt ready to break out on my own. Jane had just finished her MBA and was looking for a new challenge, so it seemed perfect to bring her on as a partner. Emma was hesitant, warning me about mixing family and business, but I was confident. Jane and I had never had a serious conflict in our lives. We invested our savings, about $75,000 each, took out loans, and worked 80-hour weeks to get the business off the ground. The first year was brutal, but rewarding. We landed some major clients, hired 3 employees, and were finally starting to see profits. Jane handled the business operations and finances while I focused on client relationships and service delivery. We trusted each other completely. There were no formal contracts between us beyond the basic LLC paperwork. We were family after all. The first signs about 6 months ago, things started to feel off. Jane began missing meetings, claiming she was networking with potential clients, but being vague about the details. She became protective of her laptop and phone, which was unusual since we'd always had an open book policy. When I asked her about some discrepancies in our expense reports, she got defensive and accused me of not trusting her. During this time, I also noticed she was constantly texting someone, smiling at her phone in a way that seemed secretive. I assumed it was Tyler and didn't think much of it. Emma started commenting that Jane was acting strange around her too, cancelling their lunch dates last minute and being evasive about her plans. When we'd all get together, Jane would find reasons to leave early. I chalked it up to stress from the business and maybe some marital issues she wasn't ready to discuss. The Discovery 3. Months ago, I was working late at the office and needed some files from Jane's computer for a client presentation the next day. She had given me her password months ago for situations like this, as I had given her mine. I found the files I needed, but as I was about to log off, a notification popped up from an email account I didn't recognize. Not her personal or work email. I know what you're thinking. I shouldn't have looked. You're right. But something in my gut told me something was wrong, and I clicked on it. What I found shattered my world. There were dozens of emails between Jane and our largest client, Dynamic Tech. The emails outlined a plan for Jane to leave our company and take Dynamic Tech with her to a competitor, Apex Consulting. The competitor was offering her a senior position with a substantial salary, and she was bringing them Dynamic Tech's business as her entry fee. But it got worse. As I dug deeper, yes, I fully violated her privacy at this point, but I was in shock. I found emails where she disparaged my skills and leadership to the client, claiming she was the real brains behind our successful projects. She had been secretly meeting with both the competitor and our client for months, preparing for her exit. The most devastating email was one where she wrote to her contact at Apex, "My brother has no idea. He's always been naive and trusting, which makes this easier. Once I leave with Dynamic Tech, the company won't survive more than a few months, and I can potentially bring in the remaining clients too. The confrontation. I didn't sleep that night. I forwarded the key emails to my personal account as evidence, then closed everything and went home. I spent hours deciding how to handle it, and finally decided to confront her directly the next day. When I showed her the emails, she didn't even deny it. Instead, she became defensive, saying I'd always gotten everything, while she had to work twice as hard for half the recognition. She claimed that I'd been taking credit for her ideas and treating her like a junior partner instead of an equal. None of this was true from my perspective. We shared credit on everything, and major decisions were always made together. The argument escalated until she finally said, "You've always thought you were protecting me, but you were controlling me. This is my chance to prove what I can do on my own." She grabbed her things and walked out. The aftermath. The next day, Jane didn't come to work. Instead, I received an email from her lawyer stating that she was exercising the withdrawal of partner clause in our LLC agreement. She was offering to sell me her share of the business at a nominal amount, contingent on me releasing her from any non-compete obligations. 2 days later, Dynamic Tech, which represented about 40% of our revenue, informed me they were terminating our contract with the standard 30-day notice. Their representative wouldn't tell me directly that they were moving to Apex with Jane, but it was obvious. The personal side has been even worse. Jane has completely cut contact with me. She's told our mother that I became enraged and threatened her during the confrontation, which is absolutely false. Several mutual friends have taken her side without even hearing mine. Tyler, her husband, came by to pick up some of her things from the office and told me she's been miserable in my shadow for years and that I should let her go find her own path. Emma is furious and wants me to sue both Jane and Apex for breach of contract and business interference. We probably have a case, but the thought of a prolonged legal battle with my sister makes me physically ill. Where I stand now. It's been 3 months. The business is struggling but surviving. I've managed to retain our other clients and even landed a new one, but the financial hit has been substantial. I've had to let one employee go and take a significant cut in my own salary. On the personal front, I'm still in shock. 30 years of what I thought was an unbreakable bond just gone. I keep replaying our entire relationship in my head, wondering if I really was controlling or dismissive of her talents. I've reached out twice, once with a heartfelt email acknowledging that I might have unknowingly made her feel undervalued, and once through our mother. Both attempts were met with silence. Mom is trying to stay neutral but is clearly heartbroken. She's planning a family dinner next month and desperately wants us both to attend. But I don't know if that's a good idea. The questions. I'm still trying to process everything and figure out next steps. Should I pursue legal action? My lawyer says we have a strong case for breach of fiduciary duty and possibly tortious interference by Apex. But would that just permanently destroy any chance of reconciliation? Was I really blind to her feelings all these years? I'm genuinely questioning whether I was the controlling older brother she now claims I was. How do I explain this situation to potential clients without sounding unprofessional or airing family drama? Should I attend Mom's dinner and try to have a civil conversation, or is it too soon? I never imagined my sister could betray me like this, both professionally and personally. The business issues are bad enough, but losing my closest family relationship is devastating. I feel like I don't even know who she is anymore. TLDR. My sister and I started a business together. Then she secretly planned to leave for a competitor and take our biggest client with her. She's now cut contact with me completely and turned family and friends against me with a false narrative. Edit 1. Thank you all for the supportive comments and advice. To clarify a few common questions. Yes, we do have non-compete and confidentiality clauses in our LLC operating agreement, but they're fairly standard basic. We didn't get an expensive lawyer when starting up, mistake number 1. Several people have asked if there were any business disagreements leading up to this. We did have some different ideas about growth strategy. I wanted to expand slowly and focus on quality, while Jane pushed for faster growth and more aggressive client acquisition. But we always reached compromises, and I never thought these discussions were contentious. For those suggesting this might be related to childhood resentment, it's possible. Our mom did rely on me a lot to help with Jane after the divorce, and I was definitely the more responsible, parental one. But Jane never expressed any issues with this before. In fact, she's often thanked me for being there for her during those years. Edit 2. Wow, woke up to so many more responses. Quick update. I spoke with my lawyer yesterday, and we're drafting a cease and desist letter regarding the confidential information she took, but holding off on a full lawsuit for now. I'm also meeting with a therapist tomorrow to help process everything. Many of you suggested this, and you're right that I need professional support. Mum called last night in tears, saying Jane is now claiming I mismanaged company funds, and that's why she left. This is absolutely false and easily disproven by our financial records, but it shows she's creating a narrative to justify her actions. I'm trying to stay calm and not engage in the rumor war, but it's incredibly difficult when your character is being assassinated by someone you trusted completely.